Hey, hey. Hello, everyone. And hi, Jeanelle. Jeanelle is my special guest today. She is my friend from a podcast that I've recently joined. They're called Keystone Coldcases. In fact, I should probably get a link for that. She is going to be joining me today to talk about some case updates. Let me see if I can get a link for this for the podcast. Here's on Apple. And I'll share it with you guys in case you want to listen. Hey, Jeanelle, unmute your mic. There you go.
Hey, guys.
All right. So, we have a lot of updates that we can talk about. First and foremost, I was going to start with the Chad Daybell stuff because that's been pretty crazy. The trial is going on right now. If y'all haven't kept up, Lori. Hey, Butterfly Kisses. Good to see you. I was afraid nobody was going to come in tonight because I haven't been live in a while. How are you? Butterfly Kisses said, welcome, Jeanelle. I don't know if, can you see the chat, Jeanelle? Ah, there's
No,
Sarah.
I can't. How do I see that? How do I see that?
Are you on your phone?
I am.
So I think at the bottom, is there something that says chat on the bottom of the screen somewhere?
It says comments. Is that right?
Yeah, you can click there. You might be able to see them there.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so you can see people talking to us there. Sarah is my mod, and Butterfly Kisses is one of my my subs, my friends. Hi, my other BFF. Okay, sounds good, Butterfly Kisses. So I actually haven't really been watching the Daybell trial just because I am usually swamped during the day while it's going on. But hey, Lori. How are you? Lori's my other mod. She's in here. So if you see little wrenches next to their name, that means they're mods from my channel. They get rid of all the bad comments out of my chat.
Okay, cool.
They're my trustworthy friends. But yeah, she's never like tried go live on YouTube, so I'm showing her the ropes tonight. We're gonna be doing me and her are gonna be doing the YouTube stuff for the other podcast that we're on. It's kind of like a local podcast. Woo! Lori's a member for 14 months. Yay! It's kind of like a local podcast where we talk about cold cases in Pennsylvania. So if you guys are into like cold cases, check it out. Hey, Risk. How you doing, Risk? Good to see you. So let's look up some updates for the Daybell trial. Let me go to the beginning. East Idaho News streaming.
Hi, Lori. How are you?
Rocky Wixom is questioning Schultz, who says he lives in Springville, Utah. He worked for the state of Utah in Child Support Enforcement Division and worked in multiple mortuaries as a funeral director and a bomber. So this is day 12. He was Daybell's neighbor until the end of 2015 for a total of 9 years. Schultz says he knew Tammy and the Daybell children very well. They were neighbors. They attended the same church together. They had many conversations, worked together, both in the funeral industry as well as just basic good neighbors. So wait, Chad worked in the funeral industry? I didn't know that. Hey, Nenny.
Hi.
Yeah, there is so much. I know there's so much going on right now, especially like trial stuff. They're all kind of like convening at the same time, I feel like. I didn't know. Oh, yeah, it wasn't Chad like a grave digger, I think he was.
Yes.
So, yeah, he was a grave digger. He learned from another neighbor, the guy Schultz, who was Chad's neighbor, that Tammy died on October 19th. Chad called later and asked if he could bring Tammy's body to Springville for funeral services. I said I'd be honored to, Chad says, and the Daybells were a solid rock in our community. He said he told Chad he was sorry for his loss and that Tammy had been experiencing difficulty breathing, and she went to bed that night. And when he woke up, she was passed away, and he found her on the floor, and he called Garth to help lift his mom into the bed. Chad told Schultz that the coroner said Tammy had died from an embolism, which I. Hey, Shauna, stick it. Oh my goodness, everybody's in here tonight. Hey, B. Tim. Hey, Queen. Hey, Shauna. My friend Jeanelle's on here I have joined this local podcast group called Keystone Coldcases, where we do local cold case. Like we do a podcast for local cold cases. Hey, JP. Hey, Indy. Hey,
oh my gosh,
Kale.
you guys, you said it wouldn't be that many. Look at all these people.
Somebody must have posted it in Queen's Discord. I was like, it's probably not going to be that many. It's her first time on YouTube, and I'm like, it's probably not going to be that many because I haven't been live in like a month, and now everybody's coming in. I haven't seen Colby's yet. Oh, that's sad. Hey, Gray One. Hey, Firefly. Oh my goodness. I heard that a lot of people are talking about that guy, John Pryor. I haven't even been keeping up with it, so I'm trying to catch up myself. I'm trying to figure out who that guy is. Nenny said you're doing great, Jeanelle.
Thanks, Nenny.
Yay! She said, we said we're going to come hang out with you girls. Well, thank you all. Hey, Montana J. Hey, Wing Zero. So let me see.
Hi guys. This makes me excited.
You like it already? Hey, Stitching. Oh, thank you, Lori. You didn't have to do that. Hey, for next door. How are you? Oh, I'm so glad everybody's here because I haven't been able to go. I wanted to go in voice chat earlier, but I couldn't. Hey, Mystical Magnolias. Oh my goodness. I know, isn't Lori sweet?
Oh, she's so sweet.
All right. Well, let me see if I can find what they said. Colby's testimony. I want to hear, did they have the medical examiner come, or the coroner or the medical examiner? I want to hear what they said about the property. Where they talked about the property, because I did hear that they were talking about it at some point. Let me look it up. Anyway, in the meantime, I can talk about stuff that I do know. So the Karen Reed case starts on Monday, which is going to be absolutely insane. And I'm sure everybody's seen it, but I think today was Turtle Boy's, it was his hearing for the issue with that lady Lindsay, the DV issue. I am so here for this trial too.
So, Kate, what do you think she did it?
Do I think she did it, or Chad, or which one? The Karen Reed?
Karen Reed. Do you think she did it?
So, I've always been kind of like torn on this. I think it's possible, and I want to see the evidence really, but I do think there's reasonable doubt. I think okay, this is what I think is I'll tell you what I think will be difficult for both sides. I think she's gonna have a really hard time trying to explain away that, because she already in an interview basically said, thank you, Gray One. Thank you so much. She already in an interview said that it was an accident or whatever, and then now she's going to have to try and walk that back. And I don't think they've said they haven't said out what the results were for the DNA, but if they did find his DNA on the car, I think that is going to be super hard for her to explain away.
Right.
I think if she did do it, I don't think it was on purpose. I guess that's like where I am with it. If it did happen, I think she blacked out and doesn't remember. But like I don't think it was like intentional, but I do think that there's definitely like there might be some reasonable doubt for sure. I appreciate it, Graylin. But I'm excited to I feel like it's gonna turn into like a battle of the experts. Like
Yeah, I don't think it's totally cut and dry with this one either. I feel like there's going to be a lot that has to be proven one way or another for this one.
Yeah, for both sides, really. Hi, Rowena. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long. Lori, you better stop it right now. Thank you. Thank you, Lori. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting. But I will tell you what, I am like I love a good defensive trial. So I am kind of excited for Alan Jackson. I just feel like want to see him in action. I don't know why. I just love because I feel like so many trials you see, it's always like usually the person they're guilty and it's pretty
Right.
like you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I love when there's a trial where it's like split down the middle or you don't really know.
So can we get back to Chad Daybell for a second? What exactly is he being charged with?
Okay, so I don't know if does anyone know if he's being charged for specifically Tammy this one or the children? I'm assuming it's Tammy because they're talking about Tammy, but the defense in the Chad Daybell trial as well. I haven't been able to like really watch it. So yeah, he's being charged with murdering his wife pretty much. So like what happened was when him and Lori all three of them. He's being charged.
Okay. I didn't know that.
4 counts of murder, I think. Okay, so all three of them at once. So and then Lori is going to go back to court and be charged for Charles, her husband, in Arizona, I believe. So if like the whole story is just insane. That entire story is absolutely insane. But basically, Lori started listening to like Chad's podcast and ended up falling in love with him. I'm not sure. That's a good question. I hope so. Let me look it up. I can look it up for you. The death penalty. For Chad or Lori, are you asking? Happy life. Death penalty will stay on the table in the murder against Chad Daybell. Okay, so it stays on the table, they said. So Lori meets Chad. She starts listening to his podcast. She goes and meets him in person. And they like fall in love. Pryor's just doing his job. I have to keep reminding myself of that. He goes low. I've heard a lot of people saying bad stuff about Pryor, like something about he has some kind of like prior charges or something. I was reading it all over Twitter today. I'm like, what are they talking about on here? So now I'm gonna have to go look. But back to what I was saying. Lori was with Charles, and let me tell you, like Charles was cute. Like I don't know.
Yes, he was. Oh,
wasn't he
gosh.
adorable? Like
yes.
Chad is like the goofiest looking dude ever. He looks like a frog potato. That's what I call him because I think he looks like a frog potato. And
Rowena, he is a piece of shit. I agree with you.
Yeah. So is he doing like a good job, the defense lawyer? I think he's gotten. Gotcha. Well, I think that like what they're trying to prove, I guess, I'm assuming, is that he was manipulated by Lori. You know what I mean? Like I think that's where they're gonna go with it. But Charles was like such a good looking guy. Like he had his ish together, you know what I mean? And then her brother is totally crazy too. Lori's brother. Yeah, Rowena, you can come up. Yes, Rose is gonna come up and tell us about it. I need to share my link more often. I never do it. I always forget. They're always telling me you should put your link in chat, and I don't even think about it. Well, good. Ro can fill us in on all of the deets for the Daybell case because I haven't been able to follow it.
I'm excited.
Hey, Ro.
Girl, you better put up that pain screen, honey.
Hey, Jeanelle.
Better start putting up the pain screen.
Jeanelle hasn't even. It's her first day on YouTube, and we're already talking about peen screens.
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
honey. Oh, bless her. Welcome to the hood, baby. Welcome to the alley. Welcome to the alley. We use peen screens over here.
I do have a cute peen screen with a little cartoon peen, but I'm afraid if I use it, I'll get in trouble. But it's adorable.
Well, I just want to hop it real quick because I thought, when Tammy's trial was going on, it was Gannon's trial. So I watched Gannon's trial during the day, and then the audio on Hidden True Crime. She would put out the audio at night, and then I would listen to it. And so I've been eat up with this. Tammy found Chad. She had read all of his books before she met him at that conference. So Chad didn't have a podcast. That was Melanie Gibb and Tammy that had the podcast. So that's how she met Chad.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So then he would go to these conferences and sell his books, and she had already read his books, so she knew who he was. But in Tammy's trial, Tammy wasn't very. She didn't quote participate in her trial. Like she just sat there. From what channel said, from what the reporting was, that she didn't take active notes or do anything like that. So she.
You
didn't
mean Lori didn't?
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Did I say Tammy?
Okay.
Oh Lord, I'm so sorry, y'all.
That's all right.
I meant Lori. Lori
I figured.
Sorry, I got. Anyway, I'll get to Tammy. It's so sad.
Lori looked like a poodle her entire
yeah,
trial.
she did.
Just
she did.
there, smiling.
Yeah, she did. And so, but Chad and Lori would not let her defense kind of throw Chad under the bus and blame Chad. Okay, so everything was kind of put on her. Well, Chad is the absolute 180, 360, all of the things opposite. They are definitely throwing Lori under the bus, saying that Lori was the one that influenced Chad and seduced him and all the things to create all these things. So,
which I don't believe because
no, I don't either.
Yeah, he killed his wife. I mean, Lori wasn't there, I don't think, to do that. So
right, and but it's it's the whole manipulation. Pryor is his John Pryor. He's not a good guy, but if I was fighting for my life, yeah, he's going really low. He's because right now they're just into the Tammy part. They're just setting up. They spent whatever 9 days, 11 days, whatever. And I hadn't listened to them the last couple hours of today, but the kind of the timeline how they met and all things, and now they're getting into Tammy, but they haven't gotten into JJ and Tyler yet. So that has not come into place.
So they microwave.
I mean, they have, but not. I mean, they have as far as their deaths and everything, but as far as having law enforcement, all the detectives that were involved with that investigation. I mean, some of them overrode, but the lead investigator, they had the lead investigator for Tammy's death that was, testified. But
so they haven't gotten into the fine details yet, right?
No, no, not of JJ and Tylee. Now of Tammy, they have, and they went into, Charles's death, Charles Vallow, Lori's husband, husband that Alex killed. Yeah. then they haven't gotten into. They have gotten into the attempt on Brandon Boudreaux. That would be Lori's nephew.
Nieces
Yeah,
or
right,
yeah,
nephew by marriage. Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. So
So,
they did.
Roro, can I ask you a question? This is Jeanelle here.
Lord, I probably don't know it, but yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I wanted your opinion on this. Do you think that Lori would have done this pre-Chad, or because she met Chad this had happened? Do you think Chad is the reason, or this was something Lori was thinking all along?
Um, there's even questions now about her. It was either her first or second husband, because Chad was her fifth husband.
Right.
So, and it was either her first or second. It's Tylee's dad, um, that passed, and there was like a super fast cremation. Like, it was just weird. So I don't know. I think they fed off each other. I think, look at him. Come on now.
I know.
And he was heavier then, and but that real mild mannered mink. I think there was a rage inside him. Like there, you know what I mean? Like you would have to be twisted to believe all the bullshit. There's dark 4.6 and just weird shit.
Right.
I think they were. I thought they were gonna try and blame everything on Alex, honestly. But I do think Alex was like, he
But
was the most influenced.
Alex is playing a big role in it, and in the LDS church, they go in, Ruby Sue. They showed like I forget, it's like kind of like a priesthood blessing, and like you have to be appointed by the bishop to do that. It's a big, huge deal. It's like you can't just go and be, blessing people, without whatever permission or whatever. And he did that for Alex, and then 2 or 3 days later, Alex died. So I think whatever got first or second hubby, whichever one that was, because I know the first one was a very short marriage, um, and she wasn't a widow, but
Joseph Ryan, is that who you're talking
yeah,
about?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think whatever took him, and it was a fast cremation, so nothing could be proven. Going back all these years, they wouldn't at the time, I guess, at the time, but I think, in my opinion, I don't know this, don't know, only God and Alex know, but I think Alex definitely committed suicide in a way that it wasn't detected. The hardest thing watching for me during the Chad Daybell trial was the cross examination of the coroner at Tammy's death. And it's an elected position, and she's an EMT, so not a paramedic, but has an upper level of education, so between paramedic and EMT. And it's an elected position, and she had only attended 10 deaths that would require a coroner to come out. So, like, you don't have to have a coroner if you have hospice or hospital or things like that. So, if you're not under a doctor's care, then the coroner would come out, and she definitely made mistakes, and you could tell she just beat herself up because hindsight's 2020, and it's like, but prior, just he was. It was bad. It was really hard to watch because it's like, I'm sure that he didn't beat her up a tenth of what she beats herself up for,
Yeah.
but she
Yeah.
did these things, and now years later, and she's got 100 times more, death. Not maybe not 100, but she's got a lot more deaths, that she's actually gone out on, and had a lot more training. Then maybe she would have looked at things differently. But it's just sad that it was hard. That was the hardest cross examination because you could tell she really had a lot of regrets. But
Oh, that's sad.
yeah,
I like really want to hear, I guess, their like investigation points of like the crime scene and everything with JJ and Tylee from like the
yeah,
Chad Daybell standpoint. You know what I mean?
right. Well,
Because
they'll still have now. One thing that did come out of the trial that I've never seen before, and I haven't seen anybody. I think it was not leaked. I don't know how, but it in Chad's trial, it was a video of Chad uh, being detained. I don't know if he was officially arrested yet, but they let his daughter that lives catty corner to him come up and talk to him. And so she was talking to him while he was in the car, and she was outside the car. And um, it was her name's Emma. And it's very interesting, the dynamic. And now Chad has 5 kids, and 3 of them are going to testify for the defense, and Emma is one of them. And it was very interesting, the questions that Emma didn't ask. Like, if my dad was in a cop car and they found 2 bodies on his property, I would be like, what is going on? Who are the bodies? What? There was no questions. It was
yeah, his
like,
kids still back him, right? They think
yes.
he's like
Well,
innocent.
I know 3
It's
of the 5 do. I don't know about the other 2.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember they were like saying that they totally believe him. I'm like,
Yeah.
how? Like, I don't
See,
even know.
that's crazy to me because
Yeah.
I look at what he's done and it's like that doesn't just happen. There's got to
But
be a long string of things that have happened prior that have led
but
up to this. So that
I'm
just seems
wondering if they don't follow, if they're not, if they don't have the same beliefs that he did. You know, that he did have a vision, and their mom was going to go, and the kids, this was not their dad, and like if they didn't have they were dark and all that. I'm not sure, especially Emma. And even in one of the things that came out, he was writing a book or something, and he was using different names, and you could tell like who a lot of the characters were. And then one of them, nobody could kind of understand who it was until that video came out of them talking, and you really see Emma um, not having the. I mean, she was sad. Don't get me wrong, but he was like, I won't be coming back. I mean, that's kind of you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. So they're saying that that one of the characters in that book, which they're saying was Emma. I don't forget the character's name, but they're thinking now. People are thinking that he was writing about his daughter, and she's been the most instrumental because she's the one that's coming out and saying that her mom had been sick and all the other things, and she's the only one saying that. Nobody else is saying it. Co-workers, friends. She did a clogging class 1 hour a week, and then she also did, which I didn't know this, she also did a super high impact aerobics class that, like,
Tammy did.
yeah, Tammy did. And she did that 2 nights a week. So 3 nights a week she was exercising, and people were like saying, she felt so good about herself and everything. That's another thing that Pryor did is he was like, well, would you call her fit? He was talking to the instructor of the classes and stuff. Would you call her fit? And he just really kind of degraded Tammy, trying to, and she was like, yeah, she kept up in class. But his daughter's the only one that's saying anything about the mom. And another thing is, Chad was like super, like with the coroner, like he showed her like all these, which I'm sure they asked, what medications is she on and everything. But it was all these bottles and oils, different supplements and vitamins and herbs, and she was into not traditional medicine. And but and as a juror, he kind of the prosecution just isn't being as aggressive. I don't get it, but But Pryor's kind of, I don't think he'll get off, especially for the kids. Tammy, they might have some question. But for JJ and Tylee, he won't get off. I mean, he's not walking out.
So
So
for
But,
who? Go
for
ahead.
Tammy, and my question is, if she's that sick, how in the world is she doing all that other stuff?
right,
Like
and
I
that's
hear,
their thing. She had only been to the doctor. She had anemia. That's another thing that Pryor keeps doing is he keeps acting like she was bleeding out and was anemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, who ain't anemic? Over the age
but
of
she can't be going out and working out and going to aerobics
no,
and all of
no,
that. Also,
right, right, right. But and it's like when they talk about when Pryor talks about exhuming Tammy's body to have the autopsy done. um, he says, so you didn't let the family know that you were digging up their mother. You didn't let the family know that you were digging, and that's what he calls it, digging her up, digging her body up, and it's just so to where it's so you can see the manipulation, and a trial is like a play. It really is, but you can see the wording. Um, to where no, they number one by law you don't have to tell the family that you're doing an autopsy, but he just throws that in there to make them think, oh, you didn't follow the rule. It's. I don't like Pryor, but if I was Chad, I'd be loving Pryor. But
Yeah.
Pryor tried to get off the case, and I had forgot about this. We were in voice chat talking about it. I think it was Stitching that told me. Somebody told me, and I had completely forgot about it. That
So he's
his
doing a good
his
job for what he's supposed to do, but it's
yeah,
hard to watch him because it's
it
like
is.
he's kind of
Mhm.
demeaning Tammy in a
Mhm.
way.
Well, he demeaned JJ. He's
Yeah.
gonna blame JJ. He said because they had the babysitter that Lori had hired to watch JJ while she went and picked up Melanie Gibb from the airport, her and Alex. So they interviewed her, and he had been over at the neighbor's house, and there was something with a toy, and he, he had an outburst, and he threw some things around, and but then when Pryor, the defense attorney, got a hold of her, it's like he almost blamed JJ for uh
Being like
he was
difficult.
being a difficult. It kind of made you feel. It made me have that sick feeling like when Smiley asked Chris Proudfoot if if um uh if Sebastian was how'd she put it, a burden. Yeah, I had a big problem with that. I'll never forgive that. And I don't even know Sebastian or his family. You know what I mean? Like certain things just kind
Yep.
of get me.
Stitching
What do
wants
I
to know
think?
what you think of the Gibbs. Oh, okay, so
Oh, honey.
mm, mm.
Girl, girl. I think Melanie Gibb, if she had not had that they needed that recording of her calling right after Thanksgiving because Melanie Gibb, Lori told the cops that Melanie Gibb had JJ. Well, then she calls Melanie, or Chad calls Melanie and says, don't answer the phone. Don't talk to him. Well, then Tammy calls. I mean, shoot, sorry. Lori, I got Tammy on my mind tonight. It's just so sad. Anyway, but Lori calls and says, you have him go to the movie Frozen, take pictures so you can, like you're proving that you're there or whatever. I think if not for that call, I think Melanie Gibb would have been a whole lot more deep water. It's kind of like it reminds me of the Harmony Montgomery case.
yeah.
It's like I wanted her to be prosecuted right along with him. You know what I mean? Because you had knowledge, you had all the things. I don't think that Melanie knew exactly what happened. But if people are being called zombies and then they're dying, and then you say your son is acting like a zombie, and then you don't see him the next morning, mm. And I
Yeah.
did not realize that Melanie Gibb and her husband got married so close after this happened, like soon after all this came out. And I'm wondering if they didn't do that so they wouldn't testify against each other. Just saying.
Yeah. So this is crazy. All right. So I guess today, Arnold, the real estate broker, was on the stand, right?
And see, I didn't see that. I didn't get to watch the rest of it today.
Listen to this. So Arnold, he's a real estate broker for Chad, and he's on the stand, and Pryor's questioning him, and Pryor says, or Pryor asks Arnold. Pryor asked Arnold. Where did it go? Pryor asked Arnold if he went to a restaurant with Chad and David Warwick the following Monday. Arnold says he doesn't remember that. Arnold says he had never been inside the house before he went after Tammy's death. Pryor asked if he was familiar with the property, and Arnold says he knew about the acreage. Pryor asks what the acreage of the property is, and Arnold responds, "You own it. How many acres is it?"
Oh my gosh.
See, that's what I was going. Oh,
so
shit.
Pryor called Arnold a hostile witness.
Oh my God.
And then they had to tell the jury to like disregard it. But how do you disregard that now that you know that the defense attorney owns Chad's property? I know.
Yeah. That's great. Well,
that was
way to go,
good.
man.
I wish I
Kudos. I'd send him donuts if he could dox himself. I'd send him donuts, man. That's a good one. I don't know. You own it. And see, that's what's so wild about Pryor. It's like, I didn't, and I think it was Stitching. Stitching, was it you that told me, that reminded me that Pryor had tried to quit? Because I forgot that he had tried to quit. And then the judge, because basically there's no more money. I mean, they've got his house. There's nothing left. And he tried to quit, and they were too far into it. The judge said, "No, you ain't quitting." So I didn't know. So it's not like he's standing up for Chad Daybell. He's not, taking this great stand. This innocent man is being, and I think that's kind of what makes me feel icky too. It's like you'd walk away if it wasn't for the dollar, which, it's a lot of work. It's money, but you know what I mean? It just kind of gives you that ick feeling, I couldn't be a defense attorney. I couldn't do it. I'd suck.
I don't know. I just get so it was so fascinated by when you have a good defense attorney, because it's just, you know what I mean? It's not an easy thing to do.
Mm-mm.
So I really love watching cases with I was blown away with all the Barry Morphew case. It didn't even get to trial, but the pre hearings, man, I was blown away by just everything they unearthed. It was wild, and just stuff like that I get so into. So
yeah, I do too. I don't know. Is that me crackling or you crackling?
Jeanelle, I don't know what it is, but maybe you're moving the phone or something, but something's crackling.
I'm not moving. I've been sitting still.
Oh, I don't know what it is then.
I'm in a very still position.
Well, I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is. Sometimes my phone used to just do that before when I was on lives. I don't know what it is.
You sure it's not me?
I don't think so. I don't know what it is.
Okay. No, it's not.
Oh, it's not plugged in. I'm not sure. Yeah. I haven't been moving. I swear.
It's all right. You're fine. You're fine. We're good.
Do you hear it anymore?
No,
I don't hear it anymore. It went away now. It used to happen to me all the time.
Now it's back a little bit. But yeah, so to me, I will have to go back and watch that. Oh,
yeah, that's right. I haven't seen it live, but I'm reading about it, and apparently it was a big thing. There ain't walking that bad.
Dadgum, usually by this time of night I'm done. I've already listened, because I'll listen to it on 2x speed and everything, and then slow it down as I need to, and then I can zip through the sidebar, zip through the zip through the breaks.
You can do it on 2x speed and get through it fast,
But then when there's stuff that you have to, concentrate and the timeline, then I listen to it normal. But some of the financial stuff, okay, you got on a plane, he's Lolly
Yeah.
Lolly such account, you know.
Yeah, I always skip like things like that, or like when they talk about like financials or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
rental cars and
yeah.
stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay, like I don't want to hear that no more.
I hope the prosecution, I hope they turn it up a little bit. They're not objecting. Um, and the minute they do object, the judge is like sustained. I mean, it's like he's just waiting for them to object, and it's like everybody's like, what, you know, you can't. Oh, did you hear about talking about Melanie Gibb? Yes, I think that she should be charged. I think there was plenty of red flags, and I think she's a weirdo, and I think she's still a weirdo,
I do
and
too.
I think he's a weirdo. I don't think he's as much of a weirdo, but I think he's a weirdo too.
What, her
That's just
husband?
my opinion. Yeah, I think he's a
Yeah.
bit of a weirdo. But
Yeah.
but they tried to serve her in the hallway. Did you hear about that?
They tried to what?
Oh my God. Okay, so the second day of her testimony, they they the second day of her testimony, they after she got off the stand, she was still under subpoena, but now she's under state subpoena. The defense subpoena, she's not a witness for them, because what happened was there was over 300 and something text messages between her and the prosecutor. Okay, and he wants all those put out in the trial, saying that she was trying to cover her ass, which she might have been. I don't know, but she went out in the hallway, and apparently they tried to do this in Lori's trial too. And I never knew this, and I need to look into it. Or Kate, you look into it and tell me. You're better at this, but I never knew you could refuse a subpoena. She's refusing service.
You can? I've never heard of that. Hey,
I've never
Melissa,
heard.
by the way.
Lori, is it me? It might be. Is it me? I'll hop down in just a second. As soon as it starts again, I'll hop down. I'm sorry, y'all, if I'm busting your eardrums. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I don't think. I think it was
I'm sitting
Jeanelle, but
smack.
I think it's something that has to do with my phone. Used to do it too. I think it has something to do with like electronics nearby or whatever. So
I'm
it's my
sorry.
phone used to do that all the time. I don't know what it is, but it would happen the same thing to me when I'd be like on, when I might forget. I'd be on her
Yeah.
thing, and she's like, "Your thing keeps doing a clicky noise," and I couldn't figure out what it was.
But Melanie Gibb, okay, so she during Lori's trial, they did the same thing, but it was something else. It wasn't the text messages, because it's different, different prosecutors, right? Okay, so in Lori's trial, they tried to get something else to come in, and she refused service of the subpoena. They went to her house. This time, apparently, they had tried to serve her, and then the day she got down, after her second day of testimony, after she got down, they tried to serve her in the hall. Well, get this. During that time, the reason why everybody was in the hallway was that somebody's, I mean, wait, okay, let me get this right. Lawyer, or somebody had it. Anyway, during the trial, somebody's phone went off or something. So when they took the break, uh, yeah, there's another thing that's weird too. Okay, when got off the stand, they made usually everybody just walks out of the courtroom. After the jury leaves. Well, they made everybody stay, and you had to check your electronics to make sure that they were off. So Melanie Gibb was the only one in the hallway, so all the media and everybody was still in the courtroom making sure all their electronics were off. So only a few people saw this interaction. And then they said they saw the guy that tried to serve her, they saw him walking down with Pryor down the hall after they were dismissed from the courtroom. They saw Pryor walking down the hall, and the guy was like, she refused service, like he was all mad. And then they had a hearing whether certain text messages could come in. That's why she's still under subpoena. Because if the state opens up that door, and they talked briefly about it, but it was very limited. And then another weird thing that happened was, did you hear about the attorney that got sanctions and they had to have a special hearing?
So wait, if you are subpoena, like, is she refusing because she could incriminate herself? Are you allowed to do that? Like, if
I
you
don't
feel,
know. That's what I need to look. I've never
because I know
heard.
you could like plead the fifth if you feel like you're incriminating yourself. Let me see.
Well, I mean, to me, I don't think you could refuse service. You could get on the stand and take the fifth.
Yeah, but
Uh,
she's just refusing altogether, like not coming up.
she's refused. She will not accept that subpoena. It's not even refusing to come up. She will not accept. She will not accept the legal documentation that says you are required to be a witness for the defense. She will not. She will not accept it.
So it says refusing. I googled it. Refusing a
Good.
subpoena can lead to like you get in trouble legally.
Well, she ain't getting in trouble yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. So, and then did you hear about the attorney that got sanctions during
Mm-mm.
this too? Okay, so this was like the next day. They had to end court like 15 minutes early, and they were going to have a special hearing. Nobody knew what it was about, right? So a lot of people left, and there was probably just bull crap, whatever. But what it was is, okay, Pryor reached out, which is not uncommon, to several different attorneys in the area, for their opinions, things like that, right? Okay. Well,
Huh.
he reached out to this guy, and I think his name was Bartlett. I think. If Anyway, he's an attorney, right? So Pryor reaches out to this guy. Okay, the 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 trial started the Monday after Easter. I don't know if that was jury selection or the actual opening statements. I can't remember. I think it was jury selection. The Saturday night before, or was it the Friday? The Friday or the Saturday night, like at Pull the Bullhorn Betty, 11:58. All of a sudden, there's a motion filed at like right at midnight, um, stating that the motion was for it to be I can't think of a legal term. My mind just went blank. I've eaten a gummy. Um, for it to be not delayed. There's another word. That there was more to this, and the trial needs to be
Like
put
be
like
postponed.
that's it. Postponed. I couldn't think of the
Yeah.
word. Postponed it in a legal term. Duh. Anyway, so it was a legal form that it needed to be postponed. Well, in 5 different places, this dude electronically signed it. Did one in his signature, electronically signed it. Means the same thing to any channel out there that might be having some little issues. Electronically signed it that he was the representation of Chad Daybell. Okay?
Oh wow.
Yeah. So he's saying on Chad Daybell's behalf, as far as his defense attorney, that I'm one of his defense attorneys, we need this postponed, right? So Easter Sunday, the attorney for the judge, because each judge has their own attorney, gets a notification that, hey, we've just had this filing come in. Who the hell is this guy? What is this? Did Daybell get a new? What happened? So Easter Sunday, all this whole team of people, the state, the defense, the judge, the clerks, everybody involved had to spend the whole day. So then they figured out that that's what happened. That this guy was just consulted. He doesn't believe Daybell is guilty.
Oh my
So
goodness.
yeah, he doesn't believe Daybell's guilty. He thinks there's more that needs to come out. But it was real late, and to me, it sounded like it was a little bit of whiskey night, you know. And we got on the computer, and he said that he shouldn't have used it. Had his bar license, everything. He said it was just a form. It was an accident that he didn't. He should have signed it instead of his bar number. He should have just put citizen. Well, if he would have filed it as a citizen, okay, because a nut job can file anything. then it would have never gone any farther than anywhere. It wouldn't have gone anywhere. But since he is an actual attorney with a bar number, so the judge said, "Oh no, bitch, you coming into court." So the attorney had an attorney, and that's why I can't remember if it was his attorney's name or the attorney that got sanctioned. Was the name was Bartlett. But the judge basically told his attorney to shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down because I don't want to hear from you. I brought him in to talk to him, not to talk to you. And boy, honey, I look. Oh my God. It's on the lawyer notes, like a 25-minute thing. He gives a breakdown of,
Uh-huh.
of it all. It was so good. It was so good. But what he wore him out. And the attorney's, Bartlett's attorney, even made a slide comment and said, well, this was an inconvenience then. And the judge was like, you want to talk inconvenience? Let's talk about Easter Sunday. Let's
Right.
talk about inconvenience. And so he sanctioned the lawyer. Every person that was involved in clearing this nightmare up, they had to send in what it cost them for their time, and he has to pay it.
Oh my goodness. I wonder how much that is.
I
That's
don't
probably a
know.
lot because that's a lot of people.
Well, it'll come out how much it was. The sanction will come out. But, I mean, it wasn't criminal, so he couldn't serve any time. It wasn't criminal. So if he could have, you could tell the judge was like, he would have put him in jail.
So
And that
have
does
you been
happen.
following Delphi? Because I've heard a lot of I
I have
haven't.
not.
I followed it all the way up until like a couple months ago, and now I'm lost. But I've heard like crazy stuff is happening in that too.
That's what I heard. I don't know. And that's one case. It was so hard to follow. I was pretty silent in a lot of chats. I don't know. That case just, I don't know. But, you have just those certain ones that
Yeah.
just, kind of get you. I don't even know if I'm on. Well, they said that now I've heard two different things. I've heard Ratliff was the attorney, Bartlett reps. Okay, so Ratliff is the attorney that did the, what, and then Bartlett was his attorney. Okay, sorry, I had it wrong. Yeah, I haven't, and I'm so lost. I would need like a condensed, and everything.
Yes. Last I checked is that they left like evidence pictures on the conference table in the room, and then
Yes.
this guy
The weirdo. Yep.
took pictures of them and
Yep.
then sent
Sent
them to
'em.
everybody.
He sent them to the girl's parents.
And am I just totally making this up, or did
No.
that guy like unalive himself?
No, he's around.
Oh, okay.
I
Didn't somebody like
think,
unalive themselves?
uh,
Connect it in like the trial stuff? I swear.
or maybe it was.
I thought there was somebody
I don't
involved.
know.
What I can tell you is that the defense is trying to prove that there was over 150 people on that bridge at the time that those two girls were taken.
What?
That it was not Richard Allen. That it could have been any Tom, Dick, or
150
Harry
people
on that bridge. And I'm like, that bridge is in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. There's no way
There's no way.
150
There's
people
no
on
way.
the bridge.
There's no
There's
way.
no way. Like I can see maybe 25 at max, maybe.
Right.
But there's no way that there was ever 100 people on that bridge and that anyone could have taken those girls. But
Yeah.
that's what the defense is now saying. There were more people on that bridge than is being presented, and there's proof that there was more people on that bridge, and that Richard Allen is now claiming that, he's not even sure he was on that bridge. And I'm like, look, like it's in your face.
I do think it's a little weird, like all of that Odinism stuff they put forward. Like I thought that was like pretty okay. So there was like
I'm gonna let y'all talk about this so I can listen and concentrate.
all right,
And not have to
thanks
worry
for
about
showing up.
moving and blowing everybody's ears out. Yeah, because I'm learning all about it. But I have heard little bits and pieces. So I'll talk to y'all later. Bye bye.
All right, tell the puppy I said hello. So there was like photos going around, but they were like almost like cartoonized and like blurred, so you couldn't see them, but you could see that there's these like sticks laid over the bodies, very like, I guess, like laid out very specifically to make shapes. You know what I'm saying? And they do
Right.
look like the symbols, the Odinism symbols. And I just always, you have to be familiar with the Moonlight Bridge in order to find it. I walked it several times. Oh, you're only 20 minutes. I knew you're close, but not that close, Lori. Oh, maybe stitching. I thought somebody did connect it with there. Jeanelle, do you think Ron Logan's involved?
You know what? That was a name that was brought up, and I looked into it. And you know what? I can't say no. I cannot say
He's
no
the guy who
because
owned the property that they were found on.
correct. Right. And
Yeah.
I can't say no. Like at first I was, oh my gosh, Richard Allen, 100%. He did it by himself. I think personally, opinion, he was the guy on the bridge. Do I think he was involved by himself? I can't say that. But I do think he was the guy on the bridge. I do think
he
he
does
was
look exactly like the guy on the bridge, and like
I
he has
think he
the
was the
same
one
outfit and jacket.
right. I think he was the one that lured them wherever they went. I cannot say after that there was someone else involved. I do think there was a probable assumption that there had to be someone else involved because I just don't know how one man, unless you have put both girls down, can hold two girls down, before, or if that man just didn't allow him to have access to his property. I just don't know.
Yeah. Hey, Melissa. Sorry, I really, she's been up here. We've been talking. How you doing, girl? What was I gonna say? So they're saying that the judge. All right. So I guess over Goal. This is like pretty much some of the stuff that happened. Goal and Richard Allen's defense attorneys, Andrew Baldwin and Brad Rossi, I think you say, have what you could call a contentious relationship. Last October, Goal pulled Allen's defense attorneys into her chambers ahead of a scheduled hearing. I remember this. Despite making it clear early on she would tolerate no leaks in the case, a former associate of Baldwin's office leaked crime scene photos without Baldwin's knowledge. Over Allen's objections, Gold dismissed Rossi and Baldwin as his attorneys, saying they were grossly negligent and incompetent, according to a memorandum. Of the two person accused of leaking the photos, one has pending misdemeanor case in Johnson County, and the other one is dead. So I guess that's the one that I was talking about, right? And the two-person accused him. So maybe that was stitching. Is that the other guy? Hey, Melissa. Paul Eder, was that the other guy? Because it said of the two people accused of leaking the photos, one is dead and the other one, I think he unalived himself. If camera is audio allowed, my judge said no, but then possibly only one camera with judge having the controls. That would be not like I didn't think they would. And then Gold's decision to dismiss Allen's defense attorneys prompted him to ask Gold to recuse herself from the case. His attorneys filed motions in January saying Gold is biased against their client and further argued that Gold remaining on the case could lead to a successful appeal if Allen is found guilty. I don't know. I know it's been like everyone's talking about how crazy it is, but I haven't been able to follow it that much. And I'm trying to see.
I just don't see where there's any way that they can't find him not guilty.
Allen?
Now,
Richard Allen, you mean?
Correct.
Yeah.
But there is a part of me that thinks there's someone else involved, whether it be, with him doing the acts of crime, or whether it be, an accessory saying, hey, you can have my property, or hey, you can, use this or use that. Like, I'm just not sure.
A lot of people think that Ron Logan is like involved somehow. But I don't know. I'm curious to see what they have because, like, I think it's pretty damning that he was there, and then they found something on his property. I forget what it was. Or they found the gun, right? Or it says Mr. Webster leaked. Mr. Webster leaked some photos. There's two guys they said leaked the photos. I don't know, and one of them's dead. So I think that's the guy who unalived himself. So the Delphi murder suspect wants his prison confession thrown out. Of course he does. Where he confessed in jail. He says he was under mental distress. Well, I saw that one coming too. Yeah, he does. He looked bad. He looked awful. Okay, so they found ballistics on a bullet found at the scene or they found a bullet. It was a casing, I think. Like it wasn't shot, but it was like ejected. Like I guess when they he cocked the gun maybe to like scare them, and it was ejected, so it had some markings on it, and it was connected to his gun, which they found at the scene. So that's how he's tied to it, and he was there that day, walking around.
There's just not much to.
Yeah,
he's just one of those ones where that he's guilty. You just don't know if there's someone else.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you remember the beginning of this case, but before they even said who the girls' names were or what exactly happened, they did not want to say what happened to them because it was so heinous. The sexual crime and the sexual assault and what he did to them was so heinous that they didn't even want to say that to the public. So it's like.
So from what we know now, like it was almost like Libby was like humiliated, and Abby, they were like mad at Libby. I believe Abby was wearing Libby's clothes, and then they had. But it's so crazy to me because there's so many different avenues that I find absolutely insane, and this is why I find it so crazy. Tell me how on the same day these girls were talking to a total creep who got caught with child PORN. And he was posing as this kid who looks like Justin Bieber and trying to meet up, right? And then they go there to like meet up with this Justin Bieber looking kid, and then Richard Allen's there, and then they get killed. Like, is it just a coincidence? And there's like a bunch of creeps all over the place, and this is just like a crazy, like, it's like there's no way, in my opinion, like this is just a coincidence. I just can't believe it.
No, I don't think so. I think they were working with are we allowed to talk about like social medias, like the names of social medias?
Say it again.
Can we talk about the actual names of social medias?
I wouldn't, or like if they're in the public already and like articles.
No, not their names, just like the company.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I think like Snapchat is the issue here. I think whoever they were Snapchatting and whoever they were talking to on that app is whoever they met on that bridge.
Well, no, they were talking to Kegan Klein. Like, we know who they were talking to, but I don't think he was there. But here's the thing. There is a connection, I believe, with Kegan and Richard Allen. I think they used to like live on the same street or something like that. But it's just so weird to me. Like, what are the odds that some creeper is talking to these kids and then another separate person goes and kills them? It's just so bizarre to me. Like, I don't know. I've never understood that. And I feel like I'll never get answers for that. But hopefully.
Do you think those two could be like connected? Do you think they work together, like behind the scenes?
I think there was a couple people that had some like child ring, you know what I'm saying? I can't say the
Right.
word on here.
Yeah.
But
I
I think
know.
like they were all connected in some way. That's just my opinion.
Right.
Because I just think it's really bizarre. Like in a very strange coincidence. I just can't, there's just no way. Like that it's this small little town and all in the same day you got two grown creepy men in separate situations talking to these girls. Just
Well,
no
I
way.
also think child predators, I'm not really sure how they operate, and I really don't want to know, but in a small town like that, if you know that there is a child predator, hey, 5, houses down from you, and you're, thinking the same kind of thing, do you not connect with them somehow beforehand? Do you not try to like make friends with them or figure out like, well, what do they do that, inspires their little brain to do what they do? And like, do they have like a little group or like
Yeah, like how
it's
do you
just
find each
weird.
other?
Yeah,
How do two
exactly.
people like that find each other? You know, it's
Exactly.
strange. It is very strange. I have no idea. I don't get it at all. It blows my mind. But does anyone know when the date for that is? Let me look. It's got to be coming up soon, right? Oh, it's delayed until October? Oh, no way, it's still October. Hold on. It says it was supposed to be January 2024, and then it was delayed till October. Oh, it's for May. Okay. So it was initially scheduled for 2024, then delayed until October, but in March, Allen's attorneys requested an earlier trial date, and it was rescheduled for May. So what exactly? Well, that's going to be crazy. There's going to be so many trials going on like in the next 2 months. Yeah,
Delphi
3,000 people.
population is around 3,000. Wow.
That's so small. You know
Yes.
what I mean? May 13th. Okay, so that's going to be going on. And then, does anyone know when the Coburger one is? Isn't that like June? I don't even know what's going on in that too. And you would think I would know because he's from PA and I would
Well,
keep up with it. But I
Coburger,
feel like,
I'm very involved with just because he's from where I'm from, and I
oh
feel
really?
like yes, I'm like maybe I need to reevaluate my whole life.
Do you know him? Like, have you ever? Okay.
No. I don't know him. I'm just like he's from where I'm from, so I'm like, wait a minute, like, have I ever crossed paths? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
So I know Coburger is saying that his alibi, like they're focusing on his cell phone data, and that um they're suggesting the cell phone tower data will show that he was not at the area of the crime scene when they were killed. They said they plan to turn to an Arizona-based cell data analyst for key testimony, and it wouldn't be the first time that Cy Ray has been asked to be an expert witness in a high-profile murder trial. And though we said Friday that out of 100 times he testified in state and federal cases, it has typically been for the prosecution. So this will be like so he's trying to say he was like going for a drive at night, I believe, and that he often drives to this like state park because he can't sleep, and that he has pictures. Yeah, stargazing. That's what he said.
Oh.
That he goes like at like 5 o'clock in the morning to this like um you know state park and stares at the sky, and he says to prove it he has pictures of him being there, dates before then, to show like um that like he's telling the truth, I guess.
Okay, well let's just for the sake of his little brain assume that he does have these pictures and he's been there multiple times and he's stargazing. Do we think that he's stargazing the night that all of this craziness happened? So close. I mean,
Yeah, he's claiming that that's what he was doing that night and he wasn't at the scene when they were there, so I guess we'll see. But
I don't know. I mean, there's times where I can't sleep and I'll walk outside my back door and look up at the sky.
Yeah.
But I don't need to drive to go look at the sky.
Yeah, I do think it's a really weird, like, who at like 4 in the morning, unless you're taking some ecstasy or something, and you want to go like
Yeah.
be one with nature, but like, who decides at like 4 in the morning, like, oh hey, let me go,
Drive to the park and look at the
yeah,
sky.
let me go drive to the park and look at the sky at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, yeah, right, no way. That's just so weird. I don't know. Right? If he was there 364 days.
Rowena, I'm with you.
All right. I guess let me get. Oh, real quick before I get to the Karen Reed stuff, we'll finish it off with the Karen Reed stuff. But I also wanted to say this happened. I think like 2 or 3 days ago. If you guys are following the Oklahoma moms case, Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly, they were on their way to pick up Veronica's kids at a custody exchange. Jillian Kelly was the supervised visitation person for Veronica. And the kids' grandma set up for them to be killed because she didn't want to lose custody of the kids. And her friends helped her, her boyfriend and her friends helped her. And they were all arrested, the 4 of them. Grandma confessed. They bought like burner phones. They set up all like they yeah, it's very sad. I was blown away by, like, I suspected the grandma was involved, but not like their friends who seemed like, I mean, in the pictures they were like decent people, but the friends, the Twombly's their names are, their daughter ratted them out to police. That was how they got in trouble. And the mom showed up to the police station flipping out. And so basically when the daughter, Cora Twombly's, I guess how you say it, Twombly, her daughter like told them, her mom told her that Cora's husband Cole, um, the grandma and her boyfriend Tad, why can't I think of the grandma's, Tiffany, and Tad, and this guy Paul Grice were all involved in the murders. Well, they arrested the 4, but they didn't arrest Paul yet, and everyone was like, why hasn't Paul been arrested yet? Like, he was involved. No, I don't think so. Paul Grice is like, he is a friend of the grandma. He, I guess, was part of their, like, they were part of this group. It was like a church community called God's Misfits, but they kind of like made, like, the guy who actually owns God's Misfits said like that's not what they represent. Like Tiffany and her boyfriend and Cole and Cora kind of made their own like thing, their own version of it, where they're like sovereign citizens who, have their own laws. Yeah, they made their own cult out of it basically and said they were part of it. And Paul was part of that group. And Paul was part of the planning and everything. I don't really know much else about Paul Grice. Besides, he was just their friend. Let me see if I can find anything about him. But he was the 5th person arrested in the connection with the case of the 2 women. He's 31. He's arrested and booked on 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree. He confessed when they got him. It doesn't really say much about him, though. Like, he was just their friend. I know one of them they called the butcher. Like, he was like this, I guess he was a butcher, but I don't think that was Paul. I thought that was the other guy who was babysitting them, the cooks, maybe. The guy who, I can't remember the guy's name who rented the property. It wasn't It wasn't who rented had the property. It wasn't Paul though. Yeah, they're anti-government. Like they're sovereign citizens. They make their own laws, and they think they like it doesn't apply to them, even though it does. Was it for the rest of the guy? Yeah. Oh, sorry, I read that already. Yeah, he was. I can't remember the guy's name who leased the property, but it wasn't him. He was just a young guy that was kind of like part of their crew. And so last but not least, let me get to the updates for the Karen Reed stuff. I am so hype about this case. Just like I was saying, bro, I love me a defense case. I just love it. I love a good defense case. Like I like when it's a battle, I don't like when it's too easy. I like watching it like a battle, and I feel like this is
I agree with you.
Yeah, this is going to be one of them cases. What I am a little sad about, though, is that they're not allowed to bring up the federal investigation. And I really, really, really wanted to hear all of the details about the federal investigation. Just because, all right, so when, I guess, Mike Marcy, the guy, he's like the older guy with the white hair, heavier. He's the guy who did the video, the DA. He wrote a
Right.
letter. He wrote a letter to the I guess Office of Professional Responsibility it was called, and basically saying that the federal investigation wasn't warranted and that they were being biased against them and that they needed to end it right there. So the Office of Professional Responsibility looked into it, and they spoke to the lead federal investigator of that area, Josh Levy, I think his name is Joshua Levy. And then he responded back that he felt like the investigation was warranted. So I'm curious if it had, because I don't know if you guys have ever heard about the Sandra Birchmore case. It makes me wonder if there's a connection there. And if you guys don't know about the Sandra Birchmore case, there was this woman, Sandra Birchmore, and when she was a teenager, she was part of this group who was in a camp at the police barracks, I guess. It was like a police camp or whatever. And apparently she had crushes on all the cops, and when she was old enough, she started sleeping with one of the officers there. And a lot of basically she got pregnant. She was 23 at the time. She got pregnant and it was ruled an unaliving. But what's crazy is apparently the one cop was having an affair with her, and then his brother was having an affair with her, and the one guy was married, and then apparently the affair began when she was 15. So that would be statutory, by one of the officers sleeping with a really young girl. So anyway, they ruled it an unaliving, but they have video of somebody going into her apartment building that day wearing all black, a really tall guy with a mask over his face. Hey Pam, how are you? Good to see you. And a mask over his face, and people always questioned if, they did something to shut her up because they would have gotten in trouble. So it was a huge thing within, I believe it was in the Canton Police Department, Stoughton Police Department, SPD officers. But she was from Canton, and there was a lot of I guess, connections of the same people who could have been involved with that cover, if they believe that's a cover up with this. But I'm not sure if it is a cover up or not, but a lot
Well,
of
what do you
people
think
think
about Turtle Boy?
I think Turtle Boy is crazy. I I think both sides are crazy though. Like
Uh-huh.
I think Turtle Boy is totally nuts, and that guy Grant is totally nuts. I've always kind of just like been in the middle. Like I just would have like I want to see both of. I just want to see like I guess I want to see where it goes because I think it could go either way. I do think it's like I think if she did hit him, I don't think it was intentional, but I think it's a possibility for
I
sure. But I do think there's
yeah.
reasonable doubt at the same time. So I'm like, I don't know.
I know in my opinion personally, there's a lot of doubt. I feel like just following along with it, I'm not sure that I mean maybe she could have done it and did it intentionally. But there's a lot of me that thinks, man, maybe we should have just cut our losses way before then. But,
Yeah.
what are you going to do now?
Yeah. I think it's thank you, Jeremiah. Member for 15 months. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate the support. But yeah, I do think there's a lot of reasonable doubt. But I'm like I said, I'm kind of like I'm open to go really either way with it as long as I see evidence to back it up. Like I'm kind of just waiting for the evidence here. But I think there's things that have me I've always been kind of torn because there's things on both sides that really just have me like questioning things. Like she in an interview she did say like she was saying that it was an accident. So I think that's like huge because you have her like almost admitting it in the beginning and then now she's running it back. But then there's some things that I can't get past on the other end of it, like the Google search. And I know what they're saying, but I want to see more evidence of it. I want like the FBI did an accident reconstruction and they're saying that he wasn't hit by a car. So I would like to see more. It's more like
Well,
I want
then
to see
what
what
was
the
he hit
experts have
by?
to say.
What was he hit by?
I don't know. Maybe
If
like a
he wasn't hit
plow
by
or
a car,
something.
what
I
was he
don't
hit
know.
by?
I think she was pissed as fuck and got the gas and maybe didn't mean to hit him, but did.
Jeez. Like he was hit by something. So if it's not a car, what was it?
Yeah. Yeah, but then here's the other thing too is they said from the jump that they had video of her hitting him. Like it was in all of the news articles and everything. So if you're like hammered that night, right? And then you got all these news articles saying that the cops have this video of you hitting him. You might feel like, oh, maybe I did. So I mean, I imagine
So where's the
maybe
video?
she could. There is none, but they were saying
Exactly.
it in the
Right.
beginning. So what
Right.
I'm same. I could go either way. Don't tell me to that. Yeah. Like, I honestly, Sticky, I don't really think it would take a lot of, like, I know people say, like, oh, it's impossible for all of those people to cover something up, but it's not. Like, have you guys ever seen the documentary, The 7-5? Like, especially in towns like that, like New York and Boston, like, it, I don't know. You just gotta, it's possible, but I don't know. I've always kind of just been like I'm in the middle. I could go either way when I see the evidence. Yeah, true. True, Pam. Good examples why no one should drive impaired. Exactly. Is how reliable is their word. Now, if they,
How drunk was she? Do we know what did she blow? Do we know what she blew?
I don't think she, I think they tested her like way later, but she was pretty drunk. Like she had a lot to drink from what it seemed like. She was definitely drunk.
Okay.
And it was denied and they got new. But forget to admit there was a Rule 17 hearing and it was denied and got found.
0.08?
Yeah, but that was like in the
That's
day. So I guess like like in the middle of the night, it would have been a lot higher.
Oh.
All right. So when I was in high school and I had a party at my house, I drank like 2 beers and I blew a 0.06. So, a 0.08 would probably be like, I don't know, like 4 beers maybe, but in the middle of the night, she had slept it off by then. So yeah, she was probably definitely super drunk at that point. But I am a little upset that we're not going to see like I said, both ways. Like, I think that there could be a case. Like, I think, say they have his DNA on, like I know they tested the DNA and they've entered that in the evidence. So if they have his DNA on there, that's going to be very hard to explain away. But I also think it's going to look bad that, Trooper Proctor didn't recuse himself when he clearly had like a relationship with the Alberts and like some of the ways they handled the investigation. So I feel like it's gonna be a really like in the middle thing. Oh yeah, the Celebrate expert. Yeah, if you're 0.08 many hours after, you were wasted for sure. Yeah, that's true. It's a small town, everyone. Yeah, but you still like that's your responsibility. And he lied about it. You know what I mean? Like he tried to like make it like it was something it wasn't. I guess so. I don't know. That's his like professional responsibility. I don't even drive, but I was pissed at running that car. Yeah, yeah. 69,000 is not no. That's not that big for like a small town. It's not that big, but still, like as a he should have like I think he should have recused himself or said from the jump. So I don't know, but I am disappointed about the federal investigation not allowed to be brought up because I just wanted to hear what they had. Like I was super interested in hearing that, and now we're not going to. But I did think tell me it wasn't crazy, right? During that hearing where Judge Beverly was like, what if the Commonwealth doesn't call Trooper Proctor? It's like, what kind of question is that? You can't, like, I mean, you could not call your lead investigator, but it's your lead investigator. But I mean, I guess maybe they could try not to call him because he's under investigation. So we'll see.
Right.
Federal investigation. Yeah, they did. They said Higgins and Albert, like, there was, nothing. They weren't a target, I guess. But I'm guessing Proctor is the only target, really. Like, that's just my guess. But I'm just curious of what they came up with in their own. Like, I would have really liked to hear that stuff just for my own selfish reasons. Because I would have liked to hear. But yeah, it could really go either way for me. Like, I don't know. Though they might bring the Proctor into the case, but yeah. Yeah, it would totally be a very interesting read. I was kind of sad because I was like, "Oh man, I wanted to hear all about it," but whatever. Uh, but I do agree. The smaller, I mean, it sucks that it's going to be a smaller courtroom, but I do agree you need to kind of see like the witnesses' faces. So I agree on that part. I don't. Let me see. Let me pull up, see if there was a bunch of stuff that they went over, and I can't remember. Do you know if I don't remember if Yannetti and Jackson are allowed to use their own, like, what are they called? The IT guys, I guess. They're IT guys. I think I ended there, and I didn't see the rest of it after that. Yeah, like talking about the IT stuff. I mean, is it like I'm trying to imagine if it's gonna be some like huge IT thing or if it's just like a screen and like some Bluetooth, but they're going to have experts. I think, yeah, it's going to be a battle of the experts completely. It's literally going to rely on experts. I think that's just going to be really the whole foundation for it is the experts, and I think it's going to be hard for her to run back. Her saying that it was an accident or whatever. And if they can explain away that Google search, that would be huge for them. And I guess like the tail light stuff. But and I think the prosecution's gonna run into a little bit of trouble with how like it was handled, like Proctor having the clothes for so long and the red Solo cups. Well, which one we're all in on the joke? Is that the one you're talking about? That statement? I know the one statement was in the interview on the news. They have a video of the dash cam at 8 in the morning showing the broken taillight. Yeah. Well, I mean, that one, all right, the precinct one, I feel like that one was kind of like, I wouldn't say that's like her admitting anything. That was her being like sarcastic, like, oh yeah, we're all in on the joke. I think I feel like Lally misrepresented that a little bit. But the news thing, no, that one was the news. There's no denying. She like basically said it was an accident in that one.
Does she have any priors?
Karen? Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
question.
I'm just wondering, like, the way she's reacting to him, like, has she reacted in a, obviously she hasn't run over anyone else before, but
she's
like
definitely like a little bit of a hothead for sure. Like,
okay, I'm just wondering if
she's
she's done anything in the past that's like led up to.
But I also
this.
think you gotta kind of understand the nature of like how Boston, Massachusetts people are. They're all kind of like a little bit like smart asses and
Oh,
like
my uncle
in your
is.
face.
If you,
Yeah.
yeah, my uncle's in that area, and you can't talk to him. You're either on his side or you just don't talk to him.
I wouldn't act like that beats him, but like I'm saying, like the people there are a different breed. Is what I'm saying. Like people like that in Boston would probably act like that in a precinct. Like I know a lot of people from that area, and they're all very like hothead, mouthy. Actually, one of my mods is from there. She has the same personality, so it doesn't in the best way. Jen, if you're watching, in the best way. I do think like Karen needs to like dime down the smiling and smirking a little bit though. She like I don't know if she realizes how much she does it, but it gives her like a little bit of like a full of herself or like she's not taking it seriously type look. But yeah, I think a lot of like I don't know, that's just like their personalities. And then like apparently she left him like 50 voicemails saying that she hated him, which I feel like is super excessive for sure. But I will say, if Dave didn't come home and I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and he wasn't home, he'd be getting an earful.
Well, same, but like I'm saying
Lots
same,
of
like
voicemails.
well, I've been married and I've been with him for almost 10 years. If he did not come home, he never does not come home. If he didn't come home, there would probably be same girl, like 50 voicemails. Where the F are you? Like, so I can understand that point of view.
Yeah. Like, so I don't know. Like, I guess that like that shows like I don't know, but here's the other question too. Yeah, she tried to kiss Higgins apparently. Did they kiss though? Like was there something going on? I mean, but see, that's even kind of weird to me too. And this is why I feel like it could go either way though. It's like if there was something going on between her and Higgins and he didn't like John, that could bring other motive into it. You know what I mean? And
Right.
from what and I don't know if this is true, but this is what the defense is saying, and I feel like they wouldn't have just pulled this name out of nowhere, but they were saying that the Alberts didn't like John, and they called him Nebercracker. And Nebercracker is actually this old, grumpy guy from a Pixar. Is it a Pixar movie? Monster House, I think it was. It's like, a get off my lawn type of dude. They said they didn't like him, and they called him Nebercracker. So, I mean, maybe there was some animosity between them. I don't know. Yeah, I think it would have been a better defense for sure than Colin. If they went with the Higgins defense, that would have been way better to me. I agree. Yeah. They should have went with the Higgins angle from the jump. If she was having an affair or a little bit of a relationship with Higgins, that is a way better motive than Colin Albert, in my opinion. But yeah. So I don't know. Can they even bring that in I mean, I know they're doing a third party defense now, but could they even bring it in as Higgins now? They couldn't focus on Higgins now that they've already focused on Colin. I do.
Sure.
Yeah. They can if they have FAFSA support. Okay. Because I know. All right. So they aren't allowed to use their third party defense in opening statements. So basically, they have to build their case through evidence. They can't use it in opening statements, but they're allowed to introduce it through evidence and build their case that way. Which I agree. That's fair. What I don't agree with is bringing in the Aruba trip. I think that's kind of unfair. I mean, I understand. So they're basically allowing testimony about this trip to Aruba where they got this argument over another chick or something. And I guess they're doing it to show the nature of the relationship, but I don't think that's fair to bring in, but it's allowed apparently. And I think the thing that bothers me most, and this might be a big reason why I'm still kind of in the middle, is I just can't get over that a cop was dead on another cop's lawn and they never came out. You know what I mean? It's such a big deal when a cop dies anywhere, especially if you're another cop. You know what I mean? And it just blows my mind that Brian Albert never came out. So that's always bothered me. I don't know why, because I just feel normally a cop would go out there to see what's going on or try to help, but yeah, it was a heavy snow. True. That's true. But still, if I seen fire, yeah, maybe. No, but I mean, I'm saying in the morning when there's all kinds of ambulances and fire trucks and people outside of your house and all of the commotion. And then didn't Jennifer McCabe go inside and say tell them, and then they just never came out, which is just crazy. If you know there's another cop on your lawn, you're a cop, you're gonna be you're gonna go it's like a cop thing, if there's another cop dead or in danger, another cop would go there to see what's going on or to assist or help. I just always found that strange. I don't know. That's the one thing I think that bothers me more than anything. But yeah. And it looks like on the defense list, they're bringing in people who were attacked by Chloe. Now, I think the only way I think that'll really work, I thought that was a stupid idea at first, but then I thought about it, and I'm like, if these people got attacked by Chloe and they have photos of if they have photos of their injuries and they're similar, that will be big. You don't think they're gonna
dog?
Well, they're bringing in. There's people on the list. True, but there's people on the list who've been attacked by Chloe on the defense list.
They can't bring the dog in though.
My Chloe is a lover, not a fighter. I'm not talking about your Chloe, Nanny. I love your Chloe. So they won't be able to have them testify then? Because there's no DNA found?
Yeah, but there's multiple people, isn't there?
Gotcha. Okay, so they're not. So I guess because they were on the defense list, but I guess they're not going to use that then. Oh, interesting. Trying to think of what else would be like a big. I'm trying to think like what else would be brought up that would be. I know, is it? We all adore Chloe the kitty. Hi, Chloe. Yeah, the clothes they tested and found no canine DNA. Well, here's another thing. Could that be because the clothes were in Proctor's car for like a really long time? Like, doesn't it like can't time affect that? I don't know. And then they agreed to not bring up Turtle Boy, which I agree. It just kind of like muddies up the waters, but Judge Beverly said if it gets spontaneously brought up, they're allowed to go with it. Like he can be talked about.
But
Which
why? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like. I don't think that doesn't make sense to me because she allowed the Aruba stuff, and it's like, yeah, unless witnesses bring it up. Exactly. Like the lawyers aren't going to bring it up. They agreed they don't want to bring it up. But if like a witness spontaneously brings it up, then it can be brought into the questioning and stuff. But I don't know. I feel like that and the Aruba stuff should just be left out. But if they both agree that they aren't going to go there, then maybe they won't even touch it. But I guess we'll see. So. Oh, true. Because the DA did that video. I forgot about that. Oh, yeah. He definitely harassed a lot of the people. Turtle Boy is unhinged for sure. That's something I can agree on. Yeah. Well, I do think being able to bring up the DA would be interesting, but we'll see. I'm trying to find all of the things they ruled on. Like a list. I'm so frustrated that the jury selection took so long and then they took those days off because I was so ready last week and I'm like, man, now we gotta wait till Monday. Like I was heartbroken. I was so excited for this. Okay, here we go. Did they let the DNA in? I believe they let it in, or have they not? Let me see. I'm gonna read over it now. All right, so they asked to move the location of the jury box, which we know they're moving to the smaller room. So basically only media, trial participants, and family would fit in the new courtroom, which will be good, I think. I mean, I think that's good for like because of there's so many people on both sides and it's just turned into a mess. I think like both sides not being allowed in there makes it a little bit better, just in my opinion. Oh my gosh, Dolly, Jailer, is Coffin Napper going to be there too? What a mess. Oh my gosh. It's definitely going to be a circus then if they're all going to be there. She also ruled that Reed would not be allowed on jury views connected to the case due to security concerns. Reed's defense has argued that she's being free. Oh no, sorry, they're explaining it. Hold on. When opening statements get underway Monday at 10, the defense and prosecution will get 45 minutes to present their cases. According to Canone, neither side will be allowed to use exhibits during opening statements. All right, that's fair.
What county is this in?
Norfolk, right? Is it Norfolk? I think it's Norfolk. I could be wrong, but I think it's Norfolk. Gennady and Jackson were also permitted to use a third-party culprit defense during the trial, but not opening statements as long as it's developed through witness statements and evidence, meaning Canone is allowing an argument from the defense that someone else killed O'Keefe. I'm wondering, so people are saying that there was somebody that was in the car with Nagel that's gonna, like, I guess, testify that they saw John O'Keefe go in the house. That would be interesting. I don't know if that's actually gonna happen, but that would make things a little interesting. Canone is also allowing testimony from O'Keefe's nephew and niece about the alleged relationship issues Reed and O'Keefe had been dealing with, as well as text messages from O'Keefe about plans to break up with Reed. I agree that that's fair because that could show motive why Reed would, want to hit him. I read it on Twitter. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Hey, sweet tea. Hold on. Somebody said it on Twitter. It was somebody on the witness. Hold on. Ryan Nagel. All right. Somebody posted the guy in the Ryan Nagel truck will testify he saw John in the driveway at 34 Fairview heading into the house. J.O. and Julie Nagel, John O'Keefe and Julie Nagel passed each other on the driveway. She was heading out to speak to her brother. John was heading inside the house. That's what somebody posted, but I don't know. Everybody was sharing it. Some guy, Joe, posted it, but I have no idea if it's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's the part that I can't get over is like someone's dead in the yard and they don't go out. Because I feel like you have to know at that time and know that there's fire trucks. Unless you slept through it completely, but I think she went to the house to tell them, so probably I have no idea where it came from, to be honest. I'm assuming. Let me see. I just know it was being shared around by everybody. Yeah. I don't know that there's anything out that actually says, like, that's the case, but people were saying it's gonna happen. We'll see. I don't know who was in the car with Ryan Nagel, so I wouldn't even know on the witness list who that would be. But where was it? Okay, so the text messages. Canone questioned hundreds of prospective jurors over 5 days before hearing these motions. The jurors had not been sworn in. Planned for 12 regulars, 4 alternates. It was crazy to see how many people had heard of the case and already formed an opinion. Probably another secret leak by the defense. The buffer zone, we know about that. The prosecution plans to call as many as 87 witnesses, and when testimony begins, including 23 members of law enforcement, and the defense has submitted 77 potential witnesses, including John O'Keefe's father and Norfolk District Attorney Michael Morrissey. Yeah, why is John O'Keefe's father on the defense list? Like, I wonder if they're calling, like, why are they calling him? Are they calling him for a specific, like, I guess something specific they're planning to bring in? Lex, that's what somebody was saying, but I don't know who the friend is in the car. So I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure who it is, but that's what they're saying. The courtroom. Judge Canone says the defense can revisit DA Marcy as a witness, but they can revisit it, but she wouldn't rule on it. Has she ever ruled on that yet? Probably. I don't think so. He said, defense attorney Unetti says it's unusual to call him. Commonwealth calls it irrelevant. The niece and nephew would testify. Third-party defense allowed. I saw that. Hold on. The final motions will be heard at 10 a.m., setting the stage for Monday. Well, no, because they didn't they not rule on the DA Marcy thing yet, or did they? I remember Ellie calling for stuff at Microsoft, and if Ellie was New York or Massachusetts, they were demanding. Yeah. Not surprised the defense has like 2 TV interviews in the case.
So my question is, are they calling them in defense of like asking, what they're for it? Oh, it was on top.
Like, are they going to, is the defense? So basically, most of the witnesses that they're calling, like the
character.
Say it again. You broke up first. Are they calling
like John and all of that for the character?
Like his dad, you mean?
Yeah, are they calling? Yeah, is he going on trial for her or for him?
I don't know. Oh, like, I don't know. That's a good question. I imagine that they're going to call her dad or his dad because her and his dad had a good relationship, and they're going to, like, question him about that. I don't know. I'm not really sure. That's just.
So you're not sure if they're going to question them, like, on her character.
That's what I am assuming that's what, like, they're going to probably question him about his relationship with her, because supposedly they, like, Karen and John's dad had a good relationship. Like, they were good.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I've been
close.
reading too. And I'm just wondering, like, what else? I mean, like, obviously they weren't there, but you would know, you might know something.
No, his dad, John O'Keefe's dad, is being called by the defense. I don't know about Karen's dad, but Mr.
Karen's
O'Keefe,
dad was involved. Didn't he know him?
I don't know if he's like, I'm sure, but I don't know if he's being called.
I thought I read somewhere that Karen's dad knew John's dad, and they had like done something together. I'm not sure
that's a good question.
What it was, but I heard they were entangled somehow.
Karen used to go to church with John's dad. He said she was an angel. So they were like, I guess they had like a close relationship, John and Karen. So I'm assuming they're calling him to like question him about her character, because it'll make more of a statement having John's dad say nice things about her, I guess. I don't know.
But like,
I don't know what else they would call him for.
I say that too because I'm just putting myself in that position. Like, if that were my child and there's someone that's being accused of killing my child, yes, I knew that person as a good person, but now I see that person is not a good person. Like, I'm hoping when they call him, it's not,
Well, if they ask him about his relationship before, like he has to tell the truth while he's up there, you know what I mean? He can't lie under oath. So they're probably going to ask him, like, did you get along with Karen? Did you like Karen? Like, he could say he doesn't like her now, but he has to be honest about the nature of their relationship in the past, I guess. But
right.
I don't know. Like, I'm not really sure where they're going with that, but I'm assuming it's for, like, character. That's what I think. That's just my opinion. But that will be interesting. Oh, darn. I can't believe they're not doing the dog thing because I was excited to hear. Like, I wanted to see if the people who were attacked by Chloe before had similar injuries and stuff, because I feel like that's like a huge thing with the dog is like nobody really knows if they're dog injuries or if they look like dog injuries or if they don't like. I've seen a bunch of people say they look like dog bites and dog scratches, and then a bunch of people say they don't. And then I've seen some pictures where it kind of looks like that, and then I've seen pictures that looks completely different. So I was curious to actually see, like, if the people got attacked by the dog, what their injuries looked like, and if they were similar, because I was just curious myself. But apparently they're not going to go there, so I'm nosy. I like to know all the things. Hey, Johnny, thanks for stopping by. Good to see you. I just like to know all the things, so I get sad when stuff gets out because I want to hear it all. And then there was rumors that like there's somebody testifying that was a witness to, I think it was Higgins and Berkowitz alone with her car in the bay. Now, again, I don't know how true that is, but that's word on the street. So we'll see. So I guess Monday, I'll have to start going live once the trial starts because I know I'm going to want to talk about it every single night. I'm going to be so interested in talking about it. You're going to be like, I'm going to be on here for 4 hours talking about my thoughts on everything. But yeah, I can't wait to see all this stuff. Like, I'm open to go. Look, I've been surprised before where I've thought, like, especially if I know everybody's going to disagree with me with this, and I pre-apologize, but I was totally sure Barry Morphy was guilty, and then after that evidentiary hearing, that thing blew my mind, and my mind changed. So I don't know. I like when that happens, so I just want to see. You missed my voice. Oh, thank you. I'll try and get on as much as I can. I mean, I work till 4:30 now, and I do 2 jobs in one at my job. So when I get home, by the time the bird's yelling for me, I hear already.
Oh, well, don't worry. I bother her a lot, so we might get her on more than you, just so I can get used to this.
She's yelling at me in the background. She's flat calling me. She's up late because I forgot to put her. I didn't plan on being here this long, so I planned to go out and put her to bed, and she's yelling at me now. But I know it's not like I have a job and a family to take care of. Well, before I was working like part-time, and I would get home early so I could kind of like manage it. But by the time I sit down at the end of the night, it's like 10 o'clock, and I'm like, I can't do it. But every other weekend, I am kid-free. And what is it? Tuesday nights, I can pull it off because my kid goes to CCD. So, but this week, I'm probably going to make an exception and just drag myself over here because I'm going to want to talk about it. But anyways, I'm going to end it here because I've been keeping poor Jeanelle way past what we planned. How did you like it, Jeanelle? What did you think?
Oh my gosh, you guys, I had the best time. I was so nervous because I thought I would be judged, but no one has said a bad thing, so thank you.
It's so different from like like the podcast though, right?
I'm used to podcasting and that kind of criticism. So thank you guys. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Graylin. Everyone's saying good to meet you, Jeanelle. Yeah, we usually like read from a script. And it gets kind of like awkward because we're reading from a script and we're recording it. And then you don't want to like cut off anyone while we're doing the podcast. Oh, by the way, here, let me share the link for it if you guys want to listen to it. But we have like a local podcast where we talk about cold cases in PA. And that's where Jeanelle is from. So I brought her over to this side of YouTube. She doesn't know what she's in for yet.
Oh no, there you go.
Yeah, YouTube gets crazy, so just prepare
Yeah, it's
yourself.
on there now. She's put it on there.
Yeah, that's the podcast if you guys want to listen to it. It's pretty much like Pennsylvania cold cases that we talk about.
And there's actually a recent one that was out today that you guys did a really good job on. It's awesome.
Uh-huh. Yeah, apparently you can hear the bird in the
But I love it though. It's not usually like that. We just had a little mix up, but it was great.
Hey, Patty. Oh, Patty, you came at the end. I'm sorry. I wish you came earlier. You're going to have to rewind and listen. But yeah, if you like cold cases, it's pretty much just Pennsylvania ones. Maybe we could do like once a month specials where we do like a cold case or like famous cold cases or something from somewhere else, you know. That would be fun to go out of the like realm a little bit. I know, I'm just sad you have to watch the replay and we're leaving. Patty came late, I'm sorry. See, I need to do my sister, give her a dang script.
That's funny.
All right, guys. Well, good night. And yeah, I will see you guys definitely next week. Hopefully, like every night, but I can't promise every night because I'm going to be tired. But no, Nina. You got here late too. Patty and Nina, you're late. You're going to have to rewind now. I'm sorry.
Late to the
I love you
game.
guys, though. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Have a good weekend. And maybe we'll do like 2-day recaps. Like, well, the first night I'll probably want to talk about the first day, but then like after that, maybe we'll do like two-day recaps or something. We'll figure it out. But I'll be back next week to talk about it. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Johnny. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Good night. Bye.
See ya.